Hello and welcome back to the Crafted Pearl podcast. This is my YouTube channel where I talk all about knitting, crocheting, sewing, a little bit of life, just kind of whatever we can get up to over here. This is a special bonus episode of the podcast. This is not the regularly scheduled podcast. That will happen once a month, but I was tagged by Tamara of the Caffeinated Craft Mama podcast to share my answers to the 10 Yarny Things questions. So I have my questions here. I'm going to take some time and answer those with you today while I'm waiting on my girls. So you get the Crafted Pearl carcast, maybe? So the first question for the 10 Yarny questions is, what is your favorite color of yarn? My favorite color is purple. So I do tend to lean more towards purples, lighter blues maybe, when I'm choosing yarn, especially hand-dyed yarn. I love bright colors, so any type of blues, pinks, purples, all of that mixed together, I love those. My favorite, all-time favorite color is purple, so I do tend to lean more towards purple yarns. Number 2 is, what is your favorite weight of yarn? Currently, my favorite weight of yarn to work with is fingering weight yarn. I do love bulky because I love a quick project and I love the feel and look of chunky and bulky yarn. But my favorite yarn to work with currently is fingering weight. Number 3, what is your favorite style of yarn? I'm taking this to mean maybe like, what is your favorite dyeing style of yarn? I'm not a fan of self-striping. Now, I say that I've never worked with self-striping before, so I can't say from experience of using it. I'm just not a fan of the look of self-striping or stripes in general, really. So my favorite style of yarn would probably be the speckled, variegated yarns. I love the look of those in the hank. I love when they're caked up, and I love how they look when I am able to knit and crochet with them. Number 4, what is your favorite fiber? My favorite fiber is currently a BFL nylon base. This is my first time working with BFL, and I just love the way it works up. I love how it moves on my needles. That is currently my favorite. I do love a good, nice merino wool during the wintertime for a hat or a scarf or a cowl or anything like that. Number 5, what is your favorite brand of yarn you can get in your country? Arkansas Yarn Co. is my absolute favorite. They are really my first big experience with hand-dyed, indie-dyed yarn. They have an awesome website. They're not local to me, but I do consider them my local yarn store. They have a wonderful app. They have a wonderful website. Lori, Jess, and Anna have great customer service. They can help you with anything that you want. So Arkansas Yarn Co. is my absolute favorite. What is my favorite? Number 6, what's your favorite brand of yarn outside of your country? The only yarn that I have worked with and purchased outside of the U.S. Is Stranded Dye Works, and that is Amy Florence on Instagram. She has a podcast, and she dyes yarn out of her home, and she lives in the United Kingdom, on the east coast of Scotland, I think. So that's the only yarn that I've ordered outside of the United States, and I really love her colorways. I love the work that she does, and it's just it's neat to have that experience of having yarn from another side of the world. So I'm excited to reach out and maybe order more brands from other countries in the future. Right now, the shipping costs are not something that I can really budget in, but maybe in the future I'll be able to do that. All right, number 7, what is your favorite yarn store, online and brick and mortar? Again, Arkansas Yarn Co. is my favorite online yarn shop. Online for me. Hopefully I'll be able to visit one day soon. I have a couple of yarn shops local to me that I haven't visited yet. So once I visit those, I'm hoping to become more of a frequent patron to those stores and really make those a little bit more of a local yarn shop for me. But the only brick and mortar store that I have is probably about 30 minutes away, and I haven't had a chance to visit that yet. So Arkansas Yarn Co. is my local yarn shop for now. Number 8, do you keep scraps and what do you do with them? Yes, I do keep scraps. I have not started a scrappy Sunday project or scrappy project at all. I'm interested in doing scrappy socks, maybe one day. Not a huge fan of weaving in all the ends, but again, haven't tried it, so willing to give anything a go the first time. I try to keep scraps and use them in as many projects as I can. So if I've done a baby blanket or a sweater, things like that, I try to find smaller projects, kid sizes, babies, and things like that, that I can use those scraps in to try to get the most out of my yarn. Number 9, what is your favorite thing to crochet or knit? My favorite thing to crochet is a baby blanket. I have ventured into crochet garments this past year. Those are fun to make. I find that the drape and the fit isn't really suited for my body. I like the drape and the fit of a knitted garment more, or something knitted more. I'm working on my first knitted garment right now, but for crochet, I love to make hats and baby blankets. Those are my favorite to make and to gift. And for knitting, I am on a sock high right now. I love knitting socks. I want to knit all the socks. I'm venturing into some pattern socks, but I do love just vanilla knitting with those. So socks is my absolute favorite thing for knitting. And then second, I would say, would be cowls. I just love the squishiness and the look of them, and so I love knitting them as well. And number 10, if you could crochet or knit one thing forever, what would it be and what yarn would it be? I would knit socks forever because they're something that are functional. You can really change it up with the yarn that you use. You can change it up with patterns, different sock patterns to try. I would use fingering weight yarn for that as well. I love the BFL nylon base, and I also love a 75-25 merino and nylon base as well. So those are the answers to my 10 yarny things. I believe I'm going to tag Nancy and Yvonne of the Nitty Bitty Sisters to answer those questions, and hopefully post a video or a post on Instagram for you guys to see their answers as well. So I thank you for joining me today on this special pop-up episode of the Crafted Pearl podcast. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will talk to you soon.